The world is witnessing a historic shift in global trade. This transformation is not just a fleeting trend, but a profound change that could redefine economic relationships and power dynamics for decades to come. As we delve deeper into this evolving landscape, we see a complex interplay of economic strategies, political maneuvers, and technological advancements that are collectively shaping the future of global commerce. For decades, the US dollar has reigned supreme as the dominant currency for international transactions. Its influence has been so pervasive that it became the bedrock of global trade, providing stability and predictability. However, this dominance has also led to dependencies and vulnerabilities, particularly for emerging economies that have had to navigate the complexities of a dollar-centric world. However, a powerful bloc of nations known as BRICS is challenging this long-standing order. Comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, BRICS represents a significant portion of the world's population and economic output. These nations are leveraging their collective strength to create a more balanced and equitable global trading system. BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is forging a new path that reduces reliance on the US dollar. By promoting the use of their own currencies in international trade, they aim to mitigate the risks associated with dollar fluctuations and enhance their economic sovereignty. This strategic move is not just about currency, it's about asserting their influence and reshaping the global economic order. This shift is significant for several reasons. Firstly, it diversifies the global financial system, reducing the concentration of power that has long been held by a few dominant currencies. Secondly, it encourages other nations to explore similar strategies, potentially leading to a more resilient and adaptable global economy. Lastly, it reflects a broader trend towards regional cooperation and integration, as countries seek to build stronger economic ties with their neighbors. It signals a move towards a more multipolar world, where power is distributed more evenly among nations. This multipolarity fosters a more inclusive and representative global governance structure, where diverse voices and perspectives can contribute to shaping the future of international trade. It also reduces the likelihood of unilateral decisions that can disrupt global markets, promoting a more stable and predictable economic environment. It also reflects the growing economic clout of BRICS nations, which are increasingly asserting their presence on the global stage. Their rising influence is not just a testament to their economic growth, but also to their strategic vision and collaborative efforts. As these nations continue to strengthen their economic partnerships and expand their global reach, they are poised to play a pivotal role in shaping the future of global trade. A key aspect of BRICS' strategy is the increasing use of local currencies in trade between member nations. This strategic move is not just about economic convenience, but also about asserting financial independence and strengthening regional ties. By using their own currencies, BRICS countries aim to create a more balanced and equitable global financial system. This means that instead of using US dollars, countries like India and China are settling transactions in Indian rupees and Chinese yuan. This shift is significant because it reduces the reliance on a single dominant currency, thereby mitigating the risks associated with currency fluctuations and economic sanctions. This reduces the need to convert currencies, which can be costly and time-consuming. Currency conversion often involves fees and delays, which can hinder trade efficiency. By using local currencies, businesses can streamline their operations, reduce costs, and improve profitability. The surge in local currency usage is remarkable. It reflects a growing confidence in the economic stability and strength of BRICS nations. Local businesses and consumers are increasingly comfortable with using their own currencies, which fosters a sense of national pride and economic sovereignty. Recent data indicates that over 65% of transactions within the BRICS bloc are now conducted in local currencies, a significant increase from previous years. This trend is expected to continue as more countries within the bloc adopt similar practices, further solidifying the role of local currencies in international trade. This trend underscores the commitment of BRICS nations to reduce their dependence on the US dollar. By doing so, they aim to protect their economies from external shocks and enhance their financial autonomy. The rise of local currencies is not just a financial strategy, it is a statement of economic resilience and a step towards a more multipolar world order. To further reduce reliance on Western financial systems, BRICS is developing its own payment system known as BRICS Pay. This ambitious project aims to create a seamless and efficient platform for cross-border transactions within the bloc. BRICS Pay seeks to streamline payments, reduce transaction costs, and provide an alternative to existing systems like SWIFT, which is heavily influenced by Western countries. The development of BRICS Pay is a clear indication of the bloc's determination to establish financial independence. The move away from the US dollar has significant implications for the global financial system. For decades, the dollar has enjoyed an unparalleled status as the world's reserve currency. This means that central banks around the world hold significant reserves of US dollars, and it is the primary currency used for international trade and investment. However, the emergence of BRICS and the increasing use of local currencies challenge this dominance. As more countries reduce their reliance on the dollar, it could gradually erode its status and lead to a more diversified global currency system. Section 5. Lavrov's criticisms and calls for reform. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has been a vocal critic of Western financial practices and institutions. He has consistently voiced his concerns about the dominance of Western countries in global financial systems, arguing that this dominance creates an imbalance that favors developed nations while marginalizing developing countries. Lavrov's criticisms are not just limited to financial practices, but extend to the very structure and governance of these institutions. He argues that the current system, dominated by the West, is unfair and disadvantages developing countries. According to Lavrov, the rules and regulations set by these Western-dominated institutions often do not take into account the unique challenges and circumstances faced by developing nations. This, he believes, leads to policies that are not only ineffective, but also detrimental to the economic growth and stability of these countries. Lavrov has called for reforms to global financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund or IMF to give greater representation to emerging economies. He suggests that a more inclusive and equitable system would allow for a fairer distribution of resources and opportunities. Lavrov's proposals include increasing the voting power of developing countries within these institutions and ensuring that their voices are heard in decision-making processes. Lavrov's criticisms resonate with many countries in the global south who feel that the current system perpetuates inequalities. These countries argue that the existing financial architecture is skewed in favor of the West, leading to policies that often exacerbate poverty and hinder development. The support for Lavrov's stance is evident in the growing calls for a more balanced and just global financial system. They argue that Western countries wield too much influence over institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, which often impose policies that benefit developed nations at the expense of developing ones. This influence, they claim, results in conditionalities that are not always in the best interest of the recipient countries. For instance, structural adjustment programs mandated by these institutions have been criticized for leading to austerity measures that can stifle economic growth and social development. Lavrov's call for reform is seen as a necessary step towards creating a more equitable global financial system that truly serves the needs of all its members. Section 6. A more equitable financial system. The rise of BRICS and the shift away from the US dollar represent a broader desire for a more equitable and just global financial system. BRICS nations believe that the current system is outdated and does not reflect the realities of the 21st century, where emerging economies play an increasingly important role. They envision a system where all countries have a voice, and where decisions are made through consultation and cooperation, not dominance. This vision of a more inclusive global financial order has gained traction among many countries seeking a fairer and more representative system. Section 7. Expansion on the horizon. BRICS is not a closed club. In fact, the bloc has expressed openness to expanding its membership to include other like-minded nations. Several countries have shown interest in joining BRICS, attracted by its vision of a multipolar world and its commitment to reforming the global financial system. The potential expansion of BRICS would further bolster its economic and geopolitical influence. It would also send a strong signal that the world is moving towards a more multipolar order, where power is more evenly distributed among nations. Section 8. Bitcoin. A sign of the times. While not directly related to BRICS, The rise of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is another indication of the evolving landscape of global finance. Bitcoin, a decentralized digital currency, has gained significant attention in recent years as an alternative to traditional currencies. Some proponents of Bitcoin see it as a hedge against inflation and a way to opt out of the traditional financial system. While Bitcoin's future remains uncertain, its growing popularity highlights the increasing appetite for alternative forms of currency and financial systems. Section 9. A new era of global finance. The world is witnessing a profound transformation in global finance. The rise of BRICS, the increasing use of local currencies, the development of alternative payment systems, and the emergence of cryptocurrencies all point to a future where the US dollar's dominance is no longer absolute. This transition will likely be gradual and complex, with both challenges and opportunities along the way. However, one thing is certain: the global financial system is evolving and the world is moving towards a more multipolar and interconnected financial order.